Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi, and welcome our guests from North Allegheny High School, the 3A state champions in boys volleyball. To my right, Coach Dan Schall. To my left, star player Canyon Tuman. Guys, I'm just trying to put all this together. What an amazing run. I imagine you're still processing things, Coach, and you too, Canyon. 23-0, you win 66 to 69 sets on this great run. You really dominated this whole season, but I think you had a pretty good idea coming into this year with what you had coming back that you were going to return to the championship game, Coach.
That was the hope, and it's never inevitable that you're going to get back there. And Kenny and I were just talking, and we said, one of the big voids on our team from last year to this year was our middle blockers. And we had two new guys inserted into the lineup in Jeremiah Zemet and Alex Zubro, who had to fill pretty big shoes. And they came in a little bit green, and by the end of the year, they were seasoned veterans and just made this team a very well-oiled machine in addition to the parts that were already there.
Canyon, you had two tremendous games in the semis and in the state championship game when you put up 34 kills. We've done some of your games over the years, and you are an intimidator out there. Listen, I played college football. I'd rather return a kickoff against the Steelers than get in front of one of his smashes. And what's your strategy? You seem like you get that intimidation factor early on. You have them back in their heels, then you do one of those little death drops into the dead zone. Is that kind of how you approach it?
I mean, it comes from everybody else. It has to happen from the setter with the great sets. It also helps, too, when you have other hitters, too, that kind of have blockers lead away from myself. So with Jason and Jake Barber, those guys are people you also have to account for, too. With our middles, everybody on the floor is a great hitter. So it's kind of nice to have someone that helps, shed away the blockers from you.
And the combination there of yourself and Jason Steve Vader, get his name, and Jake Barber together, you guys put up 76 kills in those two games. And let's give credit to A.J. Schmidt. He had 36 assists, set things up for you guys.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Everybody contributed. Everybody did a great job. I was really impressed with how we did. These playoffs, we were rolling great. Everything just seemed to click for us, especially going off after the Central York game. It could have gone either way, definitely, and I feel like we just wanted it more. And after that, I knew that we were heading in the championship.
Hey, let's look at that semi-win over the defending state champs, Central York. They beat you last year. How did you feel going into this game matchup? Were you at all concerned about your team, how they approached this game?
Yeah, I think we a lot of the same guys on the floor on both sides of the net from last year to this year, and most notably on their side, Cole Johnson, who is headed to UCLA, a good friend of Canyon's. They know each other well. It's been a great rivalry. It's a respectful rivalry, and we know what a fine program they have, and we knew that they would be very well prepared for us. So anyone who would ask about that game going in, two excellent teams. Whoever would have the better night was going to be playing in Penn State on Saturday. And fortunately, we were that team that night, and it was a great match. It was really one for the ages, going all 5 sets down to the wire.
Yeah, what were your thoughts going into that fifth set?
We knew that it came down to who wanted it more. Basically, it was a game to 15. We knew that stakes were high. And I feel like at the end, we just were the team that buckled down and just decided to grind it out.
You guys dominated that fifth set, jumped on them early, and then put them away 15-6.
We did, because it's a shortened game in the deciding set. It's a 15-point game as opposed to 25, and momentum matters a lot. And they hit the first serve into the net. We scored quickly and gained a 2-0 lead, and I thought that just kind of gave us a little bit of momentum that really carried through for that entire set.
So you beat the defending champs, the team that beat you the year before in the semis. Now you go into the championship game against Landisville-Hempfield. You have to pull out your psychological traits, worried about a letdown. You beat the giant. You got the monkey off your back. Were you concerned now about their preparation mentally?
Yes and no. The 5-gamer is they're coming off an emotional high against the team who had won it the year before. But one thing we had going for us was that we played them in a tournament earlier this year. Out at Central York, and tournament games don't count to the record that you had mentioned before. But I'll let Canyon tell you how those games went with Hempfield when we played them at Central York.
It was not very well.
No.
Yeah, no.
I'm surprised to hear that.
It was our biggest loss, I'd say. 25-10, 25-13. They beat us in both sets.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you dominate them, and it's 3-0 in the championship.
We did, and I think what helped us the most was actually we did a scouting report on them, and we had papers just talking about the players and what their tendencies were, and what our coach wrote on the top of our papers was both scores of the result.
There comes the little psychological
of the
ploy.
the matches of how much they beat us by, and just give us a reminder of how we felt last time we played them, and to know that we're coming in with a clear conscience and knowing that this time it's our time to beat them.
Yeah, so the mentality was definitely one of an underdog mentality. You can kind of feel that within your team. In the week of preparation, it was definitely that we needed to be very, very mindful of the details, because I think Canyon and his teammates really approached it as though it was we were the underdog going into that.
It seems like with Canyon and some of your other seniors on the team that you had some great leadership.
We really did, and leadership can surface in a number of ways. We have some energy guys, we have some spark plug guys that do a lot of the talking. Canyon on the court, his actions speak, but just the way he handles himself in terms of his humility, it's pretty tough to get too big of a head or too big of a role when the best guy on the floor is maintaining his poise, his composure, and his humility. And just the model that he sets for his teammates was something that I felt was characteristic of all of our other guys. So the senior leadership in particular was a guiding force for this group.
Well, Canyon, we've watched you play. We've had the opportunity to do a number of your games since you were a freshman. You made all section 4 years in a row. You're the WPIL player of the year. I'm sure you're going to get the All-State honors too, and you've decided to go to Penn State. What was in your thinking to go to Penn State for volleyball?
Well, I knew I wanted to go to a program that would really push me and excel myself, not only as a player but as a student too. I knew that Penn State is a great academic program, and knew that with their volleyball team that they would have guys that I know that would push me beyond limits that I even knew that I had. So
I'm going to guess you're around, what, 6'6"?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to have those big guys.
It is
up front, and it's an intimidating factor. Right. And this is your 6th state championship to go along with, what, 19 WPL?
Yes, in our program's history, yes.
13 out of the last 16 years. Yeah. I call this a dynasty when it comes down to it. And what a year between the boys and the girls, and overall, all the athletic teams at North Allegheny won 6 state championships. That's pretty impressive.
It's remarkable, and it's such a motivating force. When you come in and you see the swimmers in the pool before school, and they're swimming their way to a state championship and national records, and the girls team does it in the fall, and the girls tennis team does it in the fall, and the golfers, and it's an environment that just kind of motivates you to want to hold up your end of the bargain. And whether it's spoken or whether it's subtle, I think our guys feel not necessarily pressure as much as opportunity to match some of the accomplishments of the people that they're sharing class with and walking the halls with.
I'm sure that cupboard won't be bare for next year. You're going to keep this thing rolling. Thanks for coming on. Congratulations on a fabulous year. Canyon, congratulations and good luck to you at Penn State.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with Ellen George. I am back, joined by a couple of volleyball spikers. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. How'd you like to get in front of one of Canyon Tuman's kills coming over there? Who knows how fast it's coming when he delivers it with his height and strength at 6'6", 230.
That's why I really appreciate those guys on the other side who dig and block, and because they are not playing scared. The great volleyball teams, the teams that met in that finals, they aren't even thinking about it. They're just, because they know that ball's coming,
and
100 miles an hour.
We had him when he just started out.
When he was a freshman.
And he was an excellent blocker then. So I bet he's really good, 4 years.
And we enjoy doing the games.
Yeah.
The talent level there is just unbelievable. And if you don't think you need to have guts to play this game to get in front of those kills
Yes.
and get up in front of the net and try to block it, forget about it.
No, they dig. You get a second to react. You don't have time to worry about your head.
Let's go to Spotlight, and we start off with boys volleyball in the semis. North Allegheny 3, the defending state champ Central York 2, a team that defeated them the previous year. They go into that fifth set, and NA jumped on them and came away with a 15-6 win. Tuman had 18 kills, and Jason Stiefvader had 15. Jake Barber had 11, and then in the championship game, they take down Landisville-Hempfield 3-0 for their sixth state championship. Tuman with 16 kills, Stiefvader with 9, Barber with 7, and A.J. Schmidt. How about him? He set everyone up. He had 36 assists in the championship game. So those three guys in their two games, the semis and his championship, had 76 kills.
I'm glad you mentioned the setter. Sometimes they get left out. That player is such an important part of the volleyball scheme of great teams. You know, they know exactly where they're going with the ball. And these killers have done so much of the net. They do it so over and over and over that if you give them a good set, it's a smash for a point, no question.
Oh, and they quick set, they back set. I'll tell you what, they're really
Those
good.
guys are so valuable in the job, those setters that they do.
You know, the description you gave me right there, Eddie, it sounds like, and I didn't get a chance to talk to them about it, that their big win was over Central York.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like, that was
3-2,
that was
5 games.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
and
one.
they told me something that surprised me when they played Landisville-Hempfield before in like some type of a tournament. They get killed 25-10, 25-12.
Wow.
And so when Coach put out the scouting report, he put all those scores at the top of the paper. How about that?
Yeah, and that tells you improvement. That's what coaching is supposed to be about. How better do you get from the beginning of the year to the end? Coach deserves a lot of credit for that.
Now for North Allegheny, how about this? In this year in sports, 2017-18, it was their sixth state championship. Both the boys and the girls won state championships undefeated in volleyball, only the third school in Pennsylvania history to do that. But also boys swimming won, boys track won, girls golf, girls tennis. All told, they won 10 WPL championships, 6 state championships, and 15 section championships. For some schools, that would like to have that for their school history.
No question.
Not 1 year.
You know, on our show, we constantly talk about North Allegheny. I know you people are watching, saying, well, why don't they leave them off the list? Well, we can't because of those statistics you just gave us. They're
the
school
leaders.
and that puts the pressure on the basketball program, boys basketball.
It's the only one that hasn't won a championship.
They're looking out there saying, wait a minute. Everybody's winning this darn thing. We got to get it done. So it's tough. It's a tough thing to follow.
And in boys lacrosse 2A semis, Strathaven 12, Mars 11 in overtime. Cade Hetzler, Hayden Vassbinder, and Anthony Greco, 3 goals each. The last game for 18 seniors on this team, but what a run. 3 straight WPL championships, back-to-back state semifinal games, and congratulations to Coach Bob Marcoux and the Planets on just a great season. Tough way to lose and go out.
I'm thinking about how we watched the Stanley Cup and how exciting that overtime is. It had to be the same thing here.
First minute into overtime.
They had to be on the
they
edge of their
lost.
seat. That's what I'm saying.
First
Jeez.
minute in.
Tough way to go.
And Alex Culbertson of Cardinal World North Catholic, he was named the 2A Lacrosse Player of the Year in the WPIAL. He scored 60 goals this year. He was all section 4 straight years. And in PIAA baseball playoffs, 6A Cannon Mac, 6 North Allegheny 3 defeated them in the championship game, and now in the state playoffs in the quarterfinals. NA finishes 14-12. The semis postponed because of rain. And 5A quarterfinals, Maple, Newton 6, and Mars 1. Mars finishes 16-7. Their lone run came on a 4th inning home run by Jack Anderson. But, you know, they're going to be good again next year with Ohio State recruit Will Bednar returning.
Yeah, when you have that pitching, you have a shot.
Maplewood and West Allegheny rained out. And in 4A semis, it was Ringgold 3, Meadville 2. In 3A, it was Southside Beaver returning the favors on Brownsville, the Whitfield champs, beating them 7-5. And in 2A, Rocky Grove 2, Cardinal World North Catholic 1 in the semis. How about this? Cardinal World North Catholic had 2 on, 2 out in the bottom of the 7th when Rocky Grove right fielder Tyler Clayton made a game-ending diving catch on a line drive hit by North Catholic's Luke Madonna.
That's how tremendous stories are told about 20 years from now. That catch will be a flip over.
Yeah,
Run.
ran 30. They moved those games in the Shannock to get them in because of the weather yesterday. They played up around my place there, and this big kid for Rocky Grove, he's going to Youngstown on a scholarship.
Awesome.
Big pitcher, so you know he's a good pitcher.
He's 6'6",
Yes.
230, Travis Perry.
Yes.
He struck out 12 in 6 2/3 innings. He had a lead when he hit the
Yep.
pitch count of 103.
Yep. You can finish the
counts.
batter out.
Yeah, pitch
100
counts.
pitches, you can finish the batter.
That's how you get over 100.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What Bob Prince, the gunner, used to say, a game of inches closer than a eyelash.
Gnat's eyelash.
Gnat's eyelash.
Oh, it's
yeah.
close, but I'm sure they beat somebody like that.
And
They
Cardinal
are
World,
good.
North Catholic, great season,
Yeah,
WPL champs.
terrific.
They finished 19-6. In 1A, Vincentian 11, Greensburg Central Catholic nothing, 5 innings. That was a semifinal game. Mark Yakin was 3 for 4. Aiden Thompson had 5 RBI in the first round win. And then pitcher Joe Alampi, he had a 4-hit shutout win with 10 strikeouts and a 5-0 win over Conemaugh Township. Ryan Fetzko had 3 RBI in the quarterfinals. Next up, the championship, Vincentian will take on Southern Fulton on Friday.
I saw Vincentian on YouTube and against Union, and the Fetzko kid can hit anybody. The Fetzko kid can hit anybody, no question
Was
about
it Fetzko?
He's going to, yeah.
He's
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that his
the master
yes,
there.
Isn't
Yes.
that his brother? It's at,
Yeah, it is. They are. UConn, yes.
He hit
He's
a home
going
run in the playoffs.
And he's going to UConn,
these,
too.
These guys have been hitters since
Yep,
they were
he's
little.
going to UConn also.
In softball, both 6A and 5A semis postponed rain. 4A, Punxsutawney knocked off top seed Mount Pleasant 3-1. In 3A, Phillipsburg Osceola 15. The WPL champs Southmoreland 4. But what a run for them! Remember, they entered the tournament 7-7.
Yes.
They end up finishing the year 12-8. And in 2A, Mohawk 3, Mount Union 1. And in 1A, it was postponed due to rain.
Yeah, Mohawk is very interesting. They had a great picture of the Brown girl last year. Her younger sister now pitches this year. It's a legacy sport. Those pictures are passed down through families, through directors of great pitching coaches. Mohawk goes to the finals.
Girls in the Western semis lose on an air ball, same girls.
And talking about softball pitcher, Slippery Rock High School, Cheyenne Heineman, she had a full ride to Eastern Michigan. She found out middle of March they had dropped their softball program, so she's going to go to Mercyhurst Junior College to try to get her Northeast to get her recruiting going all over again.
Yeah, it sounds like a smart idea. Boy, that's bad luck. Eastern Michigan.
Someone's going to get a terrific pitcher in getting her.
Yeah, she's a good
I'm surprised some schools, of course, I don't know their scholarship limits and what they
numbers.
they're all gone at this particular time. But someone's going to get a great
She's
pitcher.
making the
in
right
her.
move.
Yes. Major League Baseball draft, Nick Patton, a Butler out of IMC Academy out of Florida, University of Delaware, drafted in the 28th round by the Pirates. His best year was his junior year when he had 14 homers, 54 RBI, and batted .312. Kind of slumped his senior year with 9 homers, 30 RBIs, and .241, but he's in the big leagues now.
George and I know him. We worked with his father in basketball, and the kid is a hard worker. Mm-hmm. And George, you know him from IMG with Billy Clappers, brings him down there. So
terrific.
Yes,
just to make it, just to be drafted.
Just to be drafted.
And he's got the body. He's got the size.
210.
He's a big kid. Yes, sir.
Seneca Valley pitcher, it seemed like yesterday we were talking about Connor Coward out of Virginia Tech, selected by St. Louis in the 26th round. He struck out 76 and 78 innings this year. The record doesn't look good, 2-7, 5.19 ERA, but like you say, Albert, they see certain things, and you never know exactly what happens there. It might have one bad game or two, and who he pitched against, teams like Louisville. Talking pretty good baseball there.
The best
in the ACC.
And they're probably looking at his arm slot. They're looking at his delivery. They said we can add 7 miles an hour just by raising everything we don't know about. They're on it. They can see things we don't see.
They don't draft any lousy guys. Somebody said something. No, that's not the way it works. They see something or they wouldn't have picked them.
This is how you know that because pitchers around here, what I've seen, I thought was tremendous.
Yes.
Don't get drafted, and you're thinking, well. that these players are unbelievable. Players we can't even comprehend how good they are.
And Slippery Rock University pitcher Alex Pantuso, taken by Oakland in the 31st round. He's one of a number of Slippery Rock University players who have been drafted. And called up Seneca Valley and Pitt grad catcher Kevin Smith, who went to Pitt on a football scholarship, recruited by Dave Wanstadt. He's called up to the White Sox, where he's been hitting .417. Last year, he hit 4 home runs, 30 RBIs, batted .283. Thought he had a home with the White Sox, but lost out to some competition. They brought in a new catcher, signed a free agent, but he's back up there. And Seneca Valley pitcher Corey Mazzoni was called up by the Cubs a few weeks ago. Actually pitched against the Pirates. He pitched 7 2/3 innings with a 1.17 ERA, but they sent him back down to AAA Iowa. I'm sure he'll be back up shortly.
Options.
Yeah.
That's all they look at.
That's all they do.
Yes.
Jug it around.
He's amazing. And the White Sox, don't tell me they can't use a hitter.
I see the record.
Absolutely. So our stories of the week. The Pirates, this is a team in hot pursuit of its own level. They have lost now 17 out of their last 23. They're 32-34, 7.5 back. They've lost 7 straight series. I went to bed last night.
Amazing.
They were winning 5-0. I said, well, they're going to win back-to-back games for the first time in a month. I was stunned to get up and hear on the radio they lost 9-5.
And I tweeted, I said, listen, it's time to say, you 4 are going in Indianapolis. I'm trying 4 different guys. That's what I mean that. How could they be worse than this bullpen the way they're pitching? They're losing every game for the Pirates. I know the player. If I was a player, I'd be in a fist fight with the bullpen and saying, listen, you're costing our team all these games. But I would. I'd say Indy and Altoona. Give me those 2 and those 2. They can't be any worse than these 4.
I went to bed. I did the same thing. It's 5-0. I'm like, because I finally have to go on Twitter. A lot of retweets. People, I said, there's a nice squad out there of 8 guys. There's a good set of starters.
Oh, yes.
And you're destroying this team because you only spent $80 million. If they spent 110,
amazing,
and they got 1 stopper, 1 hitter, and 1 pitcher, they'd be right there.
What's the old saying equivalent to them shuffling the chairs on the Titanic?
No,
Pretty much what they're doing.
There. There's nobody there.
We could look at Josh Bell. Man, he had 26 homers last year. Is this truly the sophomore slump?
Yes.
It is.
For him. He's on pace to hit maybe 8 home runs this year or 10. Polanco at 208. I know he has that potential, but this is his 6th year.
So difficult. He's the hardest guy in my Pirate history of 40 years. Because I know the minute they get rid of him, somebody will shorten his swing. And they'll be saying, Polanco, they just hit his 31st home run. I know it's going to happen. I believe
the guy they let go years ago. I liked him. I said big mistake.
Yeah,
Jose Bautista. Jose
Joey
Bautista
Bats, yeah.
went on to hit 40-some homers a year.
Same example. That's my example.
You know, you got a good point, and that's what they're up against. And you know, the thing that's bad is, to the novice, you look 31-33, and you think, oh, no. Give them a closer. And I don't know what their record is, like 38-32 or something. They're right in there.
I've been saying that all along.
Well, the starting pitching's been better than what we anticipated.
Very
They
good.
went to the Cubs the other day. 3 games, 6 runs.
But you look at the bullpen. Vasquez 4.21.
Oh, no.
Right down the
Navarro
line.
is 8.31.
Right down the line.
Feliz 6.31.
No.
Contos 5.03.
No.
It's a pinball machine bullpen.
No question.
Sean Rodriguez 162. Struck out a third of the times he's been up. I know I hear this stuff from Hurdle and Huntington that he's great in the clubhouse. I'd like to have a guy great in the clubhouse hitting about 350 with 20 homers. Who's a problem?
Yeah, no.
Give me a problem.
I told Al, he hits so poorly they call him a defensive replacement, and he's not.
He's not a shortstop.
Well, he and Bell, and the men, it's a whole major league, but he and Bell, I call him and say, listen, we don't need home runs. See, everybody swings from the hips, and you don't hit home runs that way. If you're trying for them, they don't come. When you just swing natural, I hate these big swingers.
Here's the dilemma. Cervelli's having a career year, hitting around 270, 9 home runs, 35 RBI. He's never driven in more than 40. I don't think he's ever hit more than 11 home runs. He makes $11 million a year. When you have a career year with the Pirates, you know what that usually means. You're gone out the door. But what's the trade value to pick up a guy with $11 million contract unless the Pirates agree to pay half of it?
Yeah, that's the trouble. There's money involved in all the aspects of making deals. Like George just said, there's always money involved.
You hate it when it's the 10th richest owner in the league, too.
Their profitability of what they have for payroll and their profit is as good, if not better, than anyone else in baseball.
Oh, no question. Definitely in the top seven or eight.
No, it makes me sick. And they're doing it again. You said J.A. or Cervelli are going. If they bring Kang up, definitely somebody's going.
This date in Major League Baseball history, June 10th, 1959, Rocky Colavito of Cleveland hit 4 consecutive home runs at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, unfriendly to home run hitters. Today, in that sandbox they'd play in, he's, 80-some years old. He'd probably hit 4 today at that age.
Hey, they threw a beer on him after the second one out in the outfield.
They are. The fields are embarrassing, though.
They
No,
are
we're not
embarrassing.
joking. We're talking. If it a pop up in right field in Yankees, it's a home run. You had a pop up in the Pirates.
Yeah.
That's why they got all those left hand hitters hoping that somebody's hit a ball or right field wall.
The original Yankee Stadium's a house that Ruth built, and this one here is a house that Rizzuto built, 150-pound
But
shortstop.
the old one was short down the line.
It
too.
was short right field.
Yeah,
too.
but then you went to left center.
yeah.
It was
Crazy.
like 400 feet
yes.
and 460-some to
was
center
crazy,
field.
yeah.
National Hockey League, defense. The Caps win their first cup in their 43-year history, a 4-3 win over Vegas. They took 4 straight after losing the opener. Alex Ovechkin, a power play goal in that final game, 5th game. He's the playoff MVP. He had 15 goals in the playoffs, a team playoff record. You can call him anything you want now, but you can't call him a choker or a loser. He has his name on the cup, and he's going to have a ring.
Yeah, Penguin fans they lived for that, to get Ovechkin called a loser. They can't do it anymore. I like that his teammates were rallying around him. I like seeing that they realize that somebody's put that much time in the game. It means a lot to them.
I told you what Larry King said about him. So he's the greatest guy. He does all kinds of things for poor and underprivileged in Washington, D.C. He's a U.S. citizen. He's done it right.
You know the most impressive stat? 10 of their 16 wins came on the road.
Yeah, they did. They
Playoffs.
were road warriors.
Yeah,
they
they
were.
were.
I thought Holtby really had a sensational
Great. He
play.
was fantastic.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
fantastic.
a poor man's sweep. You lose the first game, and then you win 4
Yes.
straight.
Move over racing greats and make room for Triple Crown winner Justify, only the second horse to win the Triple Crown undefeated to go along with Seattle Slew. Wire-to-wire win. Obviously not bothered by that long 1.5-mile track. And for Bob Baffert, 2 Triple Crowns in the last 4 years, 15 Triple Crown race wins for him, moving him 1 ahead of D. Wayne Lucas.
George, you're the horse guy. And I just heard this. Tell me what you think about it. 4 seconds slower than other races. Do you think it was just a great year to be a good horse?
A good year to be a
Good,
good
that's
horse,
what I'm
yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a great horse. That's what
No,
I'm saying.
no.
I think he's a really good horse, but not a great
You know what,
horse.
too? You played with guys like it. So did you. You know how they just win?
That's him. That's what it sounds
him.
like. Yeah.
He's going $75 million stud fee. Not too bad. And I sat with Baffert in the West Virginia Derby one time. A little bit approachable. Not snobby, but at the same time, you're racing for $500,000 in an hour. Your mind's other places.
NBA, the Golden State sweeps Cleveland to win their 3rd title in 4 years. Guys, I've watched over the years a lot of teams. My favorite team was the Lakers with Wilt Chamberlain. But I tell you what, this team does it all. Defense, passing, scoring. We put them in there with the greats, with the Celtics and the Lakers and the Bulls and the Spurs.
You know what I'm glad you did? You waited to the last 30 seconds to bring them up because that's how much I think about the NBA. You can take that one, George.
Yeah.
They're a great team.
Yeah, and the other thing is, too, which rules are you using?
3-point roll?
Are you using the 3-point
Right.
rule, and if you touch him, it's a foul? Or are you using the Jordan rules where you knock him to the ground or he quits coming in?
Well, I still say those Laker teams with Wilt Chamberlain. I know the Celtics have won more titles than
sure.
anyone, but those Laker teams, when Chamberlain and them won 33
Weston-
straight
West-
games,
Weston
what
Goodrich.
a team
I was
that
happy Harrison
was.
won it.
Yes.
Exciting U.S. Open this week, the 118th at Shinnecock Hills. Always exciting to watch. But that is it for us. We have run out of time. We will see you next week.